Welcome back to CareCast, the podcast from Caresoft, the trusted government IT solutions provider. Subscribe to get the latest technology updates in the public sector. I'm Anthony Jimenez, your host from the Caresoft production team. On behalf of VMware by Broadcom and Caresoft, we would like to welcome you to today's podcast, focused on the VMware Cloud Foundation. Adam Dickerson, VMware by Broadcom Senior Solution Architect, and Nick Wager, Caresoft Pre-Sales Solution Engineer, will discuss highlighting VCF benefits, business impact, and key adoption challenges. Broadcom is actively assisting organizations in navigating licensing transitions and overcoming obstacles.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the VMware by Broadcom podcast here at Caresoft. My name is Nick Wager, and I'll be your host for the day. And joining us, we have Adam Dickerson over at Broadcom. Adam, I'll leave it to you to introduce yourself, and then we'll get into it.
No problem. Hello, everyone out there. My name is Adam Dickerson. I'm a senior solutions architect in support of our U.S. public sector and federal customers.
Thanks, Adam. So pretty short conversation today, but with all of the changes to VMware post Broadcom, it's been over a year since those changes really came into effect here. Wanted to, just discuss with you a little bit about Cloud Foundation in particular. Right, that the new licensing edition and integrated solution that everything is being standardized around, and just open it up with a pretty simple, what is VMware Cloud Foundation?
Thankfully, VMware Cloud Foundation is not new from an idea standpoint. We've had a 10 plus year march towards a ubiquitous platform where you get all of the goodness of the pretty mature teenager we call cloud and cloud operating model. But to be a little bit more succinct and detailed, VMware Cloud Foundation, also known as VCF, is a really comprehensive private cloud platform. It brings together all of the things we've been talking about for the 20 plus years that VMware has been in existence. It's the scale and agility of the operating model, not necessarily just public cloud, but the operational model, along with what we need inside of security and performance. So the private cloud, and it offers an industry-leading total cost of ownership. A lot of people have made their careers on our technologies, but also because it's in your own data center from a VMware perspective and VCF perspective, it's really purpose-built to modernize your infrastructure and move the needle. We see a lot of projects move to the right, but the project doesn't really move. So with that, VMware Cloud Foundation delivers this really enterprise-class compute, network, storage, management, and security across all areas of the data center. So we've got some very, very serious feature and function parity with public cloud at its core by bringing the solid lines of the different business units that we were separated by beforehand and integrating all of these infrastructure components into one platform. And we're not done yet. It's probably why all of us or anyone else who's listening to this fun podcast has gotten IT in the first place. It's the modernization of capabilities, it's the growth that comes with it. It's the lack of stagnation and the excitement for what is to be next.
Yeah, and that leads me into sort of my next question, right? We've all heard lots of things about VMware, about Cloud Foundation and where things are going, but why should organizations be excited for VCF, for Cloud Foundation? What's good now and what's coming in the future?
I'll see what I can give from a crystal ball standpoint, but we've got 7 different areas. Take those 7 different areas of cloud flexibility. Thankfully, the industry has access to what's out there by providers, whether it is a service provider, a private service provider, or one of our public partners. But we have seamless migration and the capabilities in partnership with them, both from a technical alliance and an operational capability. We can see what's there and sit in a pilot seat inside of our own data centers. So we have the hybrid cloud flexibility to put things where they should actually be. Also, it's like simplified management. We bring compute, storage, and networking components together, right? Before this was pretty much considered like HCI. We've been doing it for over 10 years at this point. So that's not much different than what's happening inside of public cloud. They use HCI as well, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. But it happens in a number of different ways. And then you have a number of third parties that add additional value. In comes also the automation and automated deployment. I want to pick up a t-shirt. I want to pick up a box. I want to pick up a size or type. In the early days of public cloud, there were maybe 5 different types of a module that you could have. Now it's grown to dozens. Those automated capabilities and customizations become copy and paste with the simplification and security that people are aware of that fit their environment. The next thing is the cost optimization. There's a couple IDC studies out there that talk about the resource usage and utilization of our data centers today. We have more capabilities than we ever did before. But with VCF, we're able to get higher rates of compressed capability and higher rates of density inside of our platform. So we can reduce the previously known allocation across a number of data centers, locations, edge locations, and pretty much reduce overall infrastructure costs. The other thing, and I wish we talked about this more inherently, what VMware's done from a security standpoint. We have consistent security policies across our entire environment. So a number of our products within the business units create security policies that follow where those virtual machines and containers and those capabilities go. After that comes an application modernization and our Tanzu platform, and these are proven technologies. VMware started in 2001. We're now in 2025, and like myself and others have been friends, huggers of VMware for 20 plus years. This is not just, hey, this is bleeding edge stuff and we're scared. No, VMware and now VMware by Broadcom has a name, has a capability set, has technology that has been proven. Now you asked about, hey, what's coming next and what's next? Well, I've had this conversation with a number of folks publicly and privately. Thankfully, IT never stops moving. Someone always has an idea. In this platform that is cloud driven, thankfully, the operational model is the foundation. What we all seek is simplification and ease to the outcomes that we're looking for. We are approaching what will be called VCF 9, and there are whispers out there. I'll let everybody still wait with bated breath on all the feature sets and functionality and all the coolness that comes with VCF 9. But what they can be excited for is operational excellence, a feature parity that looks exactly like the public cloud, the software-driven capabilities that allow flexible use and utility of the environments, the analytics that give data-driven decisions the actual energy they need versus shots in the dark. A lot of folks that I see day to day, some of them don't know what Broadcom is. Some of them don't know what VMware is. They don't work in this IT space. It is fun to say that we are the engine to the data center. If you go to your car, you don't know who made the engine. You know who slapped their name on it. We don't have too much pride and ownership other than the fact that we work really, really well and have had a number of success stories for our customers. So we're the engines to their data center, and we know for a fact that we will be and continue to be the engine for the modern data center and the modern private cloud.
Thank you. I know you've interacted with a lot of folks out there in the wild. I'm sure you've seen all types of different environments, big old data centers, lots of edge sites, folks leveraging a lot of public cloud or not at all, folks interested in containers and artificial intelligence. And that sort of leads me into my next point, right? Broadly speaking, as you talk to people, as you see different environments, how is VMware Cloud Foundation impacting and organizations, and what are they using it for? Are there any roadblocks that folks run into from a licensing or use case adoption type perspective? And how's Broadcom helping folks out as they run into these needs and these potential challenges?
That's an awesome question, Nick. I will say we have a number of success stories with our customers based in our technological decisions. There are some more that are more recent, and I'll give you 2 to be succinct. There's a recent example with the U.S. Department of Defense, their persistent cyber training environment. VCF is the backbone powering realistic training and readiness for our cyberspace forces. The automation of the training environment for these red teams, simulations and scenarios, it accelerates these outcomes to make sure that we are ready on a global stage. VCF it inherently eliminates these single points of failure, irrespective of location. And you're not talking about just one location where PCTE functions. So we mentioned that we are an infrastructure platform. Think of the foundation of a home and the rooms that are built on top of it. You got a kitchen, a living room, a garage, something cool out back. You build a pool, a basketball court inside of the driveway, anything that you can think of. But at the base of it is the foundation of the home. Our foundation allows for the modernization of applications, the automation and delivery of build up and tear down of these environments, the support and utility of a really, really modernized function for private AI. Probably one of the biggest buzzwords of the past 2 or 3 years is artificial intelligence in all of its forms. We are the base and home for that allow command and control of our customers and their data. It's a really awesome story to make sure that U.S. Department of Defense has the ability to combat digitally and also train our public servants in the best way possible. The second story is us internally. Upon acquisition, you've got two different companies that are functioning in two different ways. Broadcom as a global entity, VMware as a global entity. There were 41 data centers between our two companies. That's huge. We're now down to 7. The consolidation that I spoke about in a previous question, as well as the transformation and automation, Broadcom said, hey, we're buying this company. We ought to drink our own. We've reduced our underlying infrastructure by 60%. And that's since the acquisition just over 18 months ago. So when you mention the difficulties, anything that is a paradigm shift can be considered a roadblock. How we function as VMware versus how Broadcom functioned was a paradigm shift. How customers saw us as just a virtualization platform versus a cloud operational model in delivering the command and control that they always continue to seek was a paradigm shift. And yes, we know licensing changes are a sticking point for customers, but we are in a subscription age. I'm not sure of many companies that do perpetual licensing anymore. This is where the business is today, and this is how we move forward because the model demands it. So we align directly to that cloud operating model, and we've got parity, as I mentioned before, with those infrastructure pieces that deliver just on the core demand functions that customers seek when they hear the word cloud. How are we helping customers? Education first. My first and primary role as an architect is to educate. If I can't teach about the goodness of what we do and show someone the yellow brick road, a lot of engineers like to forge their own path, but they're not understanding what tools they have available to them. We have an entire digital library, as well as a number of people ready for workshops, enablement, technology exchanges to help our customers move things forward. Those things come with certifications, hand-holding, guidance, architectural services to make sure that that operational model they're looking for actually meets the outcome and our technology matches their roadmap. I hope that answers your question, Ed.
No, that was great, right? I know there's a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of great resources that folks can leverage, and ways that organizations can prepare to sort of embrace that next innovation as it makes sense to them. That was the last of my questions here, and just want to thank you for joining us today. And to our listeners, please be on the lookout for more episodes on VMware Cloud Foundation from your Caresoft team.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to our guests, Adam Dickerson and Nick Wager. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Caracast, and be sure to listen to our other discussions. If you'd like more information on how VMware by Broadcom can assist your organization, please visit www.carasoft.com or email us at vmwarepartnerteam@carasoft.com. Thanks again for listening, and have a great day.